So, what I'm going to show you and what I'm about to talk about is the main lever if you're running your own insurance ads for life annuity and final expense. It's the main lever that you can pull to cut your initial lead cost by 30 to 45%, sometimes even 60%, right? No income claims or anything like that. There's going to be a tutorial in the other half of this video, so stick around. But I do want to explain some of the theory. Otherwise, like the actual implementable things aren't going to make any sense. And I'm going to spend less than 5 minutes talking about this, so you really need to pay attention. Right. You may have noticed if you're running your own life insurance ads or just any ads in general, but I'm very, very particular. I'm talking about the people that I serve, right? You're going to find that like initially, right, for the first, 1 second of your video, okay, 27% of people drop. Then you go to the first 3 seconds of your video. Then only 32% of the people remain after the first 3 seconds, right? These numbers are a little bit extreme, right? And then only 7% of people watching the video all the way through in this particular client example, right? This is a very, very extreme example, but it happens all the time where like the audience retention, the graph, it just goes and it just rug pulls, right? So the question is, how do you avoid that? The step-by-step implementable actions will be available into another thing. I'm going over a different video because this is a client. He used some AI tool that I don't really know which one he used. I think he used Agent Opus. That's besides the point. But he I don't have the file. I have viewership access to stuff, but I can't manage his ad account at the moment because with the particular part of where I'm coaching, we're transitioning from me doing everything for him like I did the first month to now we're transitioning to month 2, month 3 where he starts to have full control and ownership, right? And so, because this is, his first ever ad that he 100% made himself, he made a few mistakes. And what I'm about to show you is basically the common three mistakes that is impacting your viewer retention on your ads, which is therefore impacting how many people opt in. Because if you went from, 7% of people watching your video all the way through and you have 1,000 views, and you went from 1,000 views at 7%, right? That's 70 people that watched your video. If you go from a 7% hold rate to a 14% hold rate, you've you've gone from 70 people that watched your ad all the way through to 140 people. Exact same advertising dollars and everything. That's why it's so powerful to actually go into your analytics. Just go into your analytics, find an ad creative, and then just find an ad creative that's currently running, and then just click the chart button. Super, super simple. You can see it. You can see it right here. And then it will tell you what edits to make. I'm going to be going over a different video of a different client. And because again, I actually have the footage for that one. So I'm just going to cut and it's just going to cut. It's just going to jump cut to the next part. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, in the interest of time, show you a finished product with the little checks that you can implement that will solve the problem of like fixing the graph of your viewer retention from looking like some meme coin bug, right? And this is what you do. Make it so that your captions are never like say this as an example. Most auto caption software will automatically put the captions right around the bottom of your screen. You don't want that to happen because your attention is always towards the center of your screen. You naturally gravitate towards the center of your screen. It's a human psychology thing. You literally can't help it. You're doing it without even realizing it, right? Everyone stares at like the center of like their peripheral vision. It's just how that works, right? So what we want then is for the text to be in the middle of the screen, right? So that it goes through all the way through, right? And the second thing you can do is like if you notice that like when someone's watching your ad, right? And then they go up to, say the first, 10, 10, 15 seconds, but then they stop, right? So for this particular a client. He's a done for client, not a coaching client, which is why I have access to the particular file of his ad. Right, he shot it, he filmed it. I just wanted to use like my proven to convert templates that I use with him, especially because I'm on a rev share with him. He's currently paying me 900 a month, plus he's paying me 10% of every increment of 500 grand that I make him. So, but he wanted to use his own stuff, right? When we were using his own stuff, right around these 15 to 17 second mark is where his retention rug pulled. One, the video is over a minute long. Try to keep your ads around 30 to 45 seconds. That's the longest they need to be, right? But we just did because this is final expense, especially if you're doing final expense, you need to do so little to differentiate yourself. It's actually like super, super easy. You just do this right here. You just add, if you add, just add a visual hook at the timestamp where people are dropping off, and then you will double your average viewer retention. And that alone, just through the law of numbers and averages, is going to cut your cost per lead not by half, it's going to cut it by a third if you do that. The second thing is you don't want it distracting. So when you're talking to someone and you're looking directly at them, you're psychologically looking at them right around, like from just below the eyes to just below the lips where the chin meets, right? So you want your captions not at your chest, not at your chin, not at not at your feet, which is where most AI generated caption tools automatically put them towards. You want them in exactly the center of the screen. And you want to make sure that that continuity never interferes with the chin. You do two things. If you're sitting down, you make the captions right at the chin. If you're doing like a reel or like a TikTok style ad, right? And then finally, you want to make it so that none of the elements are hiding, that none of your visual elements are being hidden from what's called like the safe zone. And the safe zones, phew, phew, are different per platform, right? So like if you're running TikTok ads, you're doing organic TikTok content, you're doing YouTube short, right? They're all slightly different, but it's pretty much like this square right here. It's as long as you keep it so that all visuals don't go past those squares and don't go past the borders of the thing, right? So let's just say, right, you never ever want your captions to look like, to look like this, right? This is the absolute worst case scenario. Obviously, I've put a bunch of gibberish and it's super, super exaggerated, but you get the point I'm trying to make. Let me just hit like when you're making something, for an ad, your goal isn't like to make it something that you want. The goal is something your audience wants. So, have you ever heard the expression "the customer is always right"? The customer, in fact, is always right when it comes to marketing. It is the market that decides what makes things convert for them, not you. And this is why you don't want to spend too much time on videos. You don't want to spend too much time on images. I've had things where I've spent 4 to 6 hours on one creative, and I'll spend 20 minutes on the next creative. The one I spent 20 minutes on will get a higher conversion, right? And then I've experienced the exact opposite the other way around, where it's like, ooh, the thing I spent 4 to 6 hours on that creative, it really did well for the client, or it really did well for my own ads, right? But again, if like your effort when you make an ad is not correlated to the success of the ad, and most in particular the ad creative. When it comes to follow up and stuff like that, that's more so that's more so like post impression metrics. Those are like your actual sales metrics, and those are effort based. Those are effort and like prowess based. But when it comes to trying to get more views cheaper so you get more people to convert, these are the quick things that you can do that can cut your lead cost between 30 to 45% on average. Again, you might experience higher numbers in these, you might experience lower numbers in these. I'm not going to give any massive income claim in this video or anything like that. Obviously, you know your own numbers, and if your numbers are shit, these videos are designed to help you, or if you just want to get better. But yeah, Skool community is down below in the description. I'm giving away 10% of the value. So there is a part two, a part three, a part four, right? To these videos that you're not going to see on YouTube, because that's just how the game is played nowadays. And yeah, you guys have a good one. I'll see you in Skool. The Skool community is free. There is an inner circle like upsell in the thing. It's 300 a month. Do not buy it. Do not buy it without talking to me first. But yeah, yeah.